In honor of celebrating the fact that Jesus died on the cross for us on Good Friday, I've decided to create this little tutorial on how to paint a cross. So what you're going to need is your water cup, your palette, your paint, which we're using a brown, purplish blue or dark blue, pink, lighter blue, green, yellow, and a dark blue. So this is a purplish blue, purple. This is a darker blue. And then you're also going to need your template and your paper, your graphite transfer paper, paper towel, and your brushes. So we're going to start by just transferring our image to our paper. So you're going to put the graphite paper dark side down so that the graphite's touching the paper. Place your template where you want it to go. Kind of just in the middle. And then we're just going to trace that with a pencil or a pen, whatever you have. And once you've got that transferred, just lift it off. And now we can begin with our painting. So the first thing I'm going to paint is the cross itself. I'm going to use a light yellow, so go ahead and get your yellow. And if you're using any other kind of watercolors that's not liquid, then we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to get our rounds brush. That's about a size 6 or an 8, maybe up to a 12, depending on what kind of brushes you have. And I'm going to just add some water. I've actually not used this brush yet, so I really need to activate that. So I'm going to put some water on my palette and mix that yellow in until I get a light shade. I don't want this to be a very dark yellow. And now that I've got that mixed up, I'm going to actually just do a water wash. So no paint, just water all throughout my cross. So now that you've established with the lighter yellow where everything is, we're going to just add some of the more vibrant yellow that doesn't have as much water mixed into it. And I'm just going to kind of go in around the edges here. Okay, now that we have let our cross dry, make sure it's completely dry. You don't want any bleeding to happen. We're going to paint kind of a background. We're going to use the blue, so I'm going to use my lighter blue. And also my darker blue. And I think I'm going to use my rounds brush. You can use the little square flat brush or whatever you want, but I want to be able to get in here with detail and not kind of get into my cross where I don't want to, so that the blue and the yellow don't mix and make green. So I'm going to start with a clean brush, clean water, add a little bit of my light blue. Just a little, and then I'm going to start going in here. Now that we've got the light blue color painted in, we can go in with our darker blue around the edges. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to it, but not a whole lot of water. And if you need to let it dry first, as mine's got a little bit of bleeding going into the actual cross, then you can do that. I think mine's pretty dry though. So we're just gonna go along the edge here. If you want to kind of fan out and blend in, you can go back with some water and just go along the edges of your newly painted line. It's best to do this step when it's still wet paint, but I didn't do that. I'm probably gonna have to go over it again anyway, so I'll do it whenever I go back over. once you get your background the way you want it to look, you can let it dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now that our painting is dry, we're going to do the crown of thorns. So we're going to need our brown. So we're going to just start by making sure that it looks like it's going behind the cross and around here. So I'm just going to do kind of a wavy line that stops right there. And then I'm going to do another one that kind of crosses through. And we're going to do that a few more times so that we get this crown. So now that we've got that, we can wait for that to dry, or we can go ahead. I will go ahead and do it, but we're going to make the thorns. So you're just going to swipe different directions with your detail brush all over the place. And there's your crown of thorns. It's pretty simple. And now that that's done, we can add some flowers and stuff if we want. You can be done at this point. It's up to you. I think I'll make some flowers down here and see how that goes. I'm going to switch over though to one of my round brushes. This is actually a size 4 in this brand, so I'm going to use that one. I'm going to get my pink. If you only have red, you can just add red and white together to make a pink, or use red, whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. We're just going to make like a little flower. So I've got a wet brush, I've got my pink paint, and because I am overlapping, it is going to change color, and you're going to see some of the cross behind it. You can also, if you'd rather, you could do behind the cross, you could do florals coming out. Might do both and show you which ways they look, doing both ways. So I'm just going to do kind of a spiral. Going to about right there. And then I'm going to start a new spiral going around that. And then another one. And I'll leave that for now. I'm gonna get some florals in here. I mean, some green leaves and things going on. If I can get my green open. Oh, there we go. Sometimes these are hard to open. So I'm just gonna do like a leaf. And I'm gonna add in some blue so that it will kind of darken the leaf and also help mask that line I've already got where the cross is. And then I'm going to do some kind of ferns coming out from behind. So I'm going to take my green and I'm just going to do kind of a line like this. And then I'm going to do these little leaf shapes like this. Just push down and pull up as you drag. And they should get a little bigger as you get towards the base. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And you get yourself a little fern shape. So I would do that a few different places here so that we've got kind of the Palm Sunday theme going on as well. So now that this leaf is kind of dry again, I'm going to take a dark blue, go in here again, add a little more detail, maybe some kind of vein. And once my flower is more dry, I'm going to go in with the dark purple that I have and kind of create some shadow in there and see how that looks. If you don't wait for your flower to dry before you do this part, it will bleed into it like it's doing now. I'm just going to see what happens. I think I'm going to add some white over the top of it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe even bring this a little into the leaf.